What's happening, guys? Following my previous video, I've decided to bring more possible evidence of Gwen's death in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now this will be my final video regarding her death theory until the actual movie. Now let's start with all the Easter eggs and the tease of her death in the past. In The Amazing Spider-Man 1, we've seen a scene where Spidey throws Gwen out of the bridge and catches her with webs. Obviously that's the mini version of how she actually died in the comics. Another one is right here, an Easter egg which was eventually confirmed by the animation supervisor David Schaub back in November 2012. Now Spidey gets himself shot out of the crane, and once he's flying down the time freezes, and what we see right here is the George Washington's bridge. Besides the time freezing effect, you can actually hear a brief Spidey sense sound effect. Now some teases from the actual cast and director. Back in July, Emma Stone revealed that she wants her character to stay true to the classic story of Gwen's death. The same month, Mark Webb also said that there are stories that cannot be done differently. He later added, quote, "It's a very controversial part of the comics, but let me tell you, I am a fan of the comics." I will provide more interviews in the description box, you guys can check them out later on. Also, it took Sony Pictures to negotiate a sequel deal with Emma Stone a lot longer than it did with Andrew and Mark Webb. The death of Gwen Stacy is what studio wants, it's what Emma Stone wants, it's what Mark Webb wants. Actually, the first phase of death of Gwen Stacy's story arc already happened in The Amazing Spider-Man 1, when they killed off Captain Stacy. The second phase is the actual death of Gwen in the second movie, and the third phase is Goblin's last stand, which is happening in The Amazing Spider-Man 3. Keep in mind that Norman Osborn is the master of faking his death in the comics, so probably he's the one who manipulates Harry into doing all these things, as well as killing Gwen, so technically Norman will be responsible for Gwen's death, even though it's most likely Harry who kills her. Now the pictures. Here are some pictures of Emma Stone standing near the bridge, but I've also got some less popular pictures taken the same day at the same location, near the bridge. Yeah, that's right, it's Spidey, and they are trying out a scene where Spidey grabs something with his webs. What I'm trying to say, they showed us this tease of Gwen's death at the clock tower, they showed it in the trailer. But Mark Webb once said, expect the unexpected. You see, Gwen's death might be faked out during clock tower scene. We think she dies, but she doesn't really die. So here's my theory on the whole timeline. Peter and Gwen near the car during nighttime. Later on, Peter fights Goblin at the clock tower the same night, and there's Gwen who almost dies as well. Later on, it's sunrise, the night is over, Peter and Gwen stand on the rooftop, and we're made to believe that everything is finally alright, it's a happy ending. And then there are these pictures. Pay attention to the stains and overall bad look of her outfit. This has to be a scene after clock tower scene. Emma Stone, almost crying, stands near the bridge. It's now at daytime. Here's a shot from the leaked Comic-Con footage. What I'm trying to say is that after Gwen nearly dies during the clock tower scene, Peter explains to her at the rooftop that he doesn't want something like this happen once again, and perhaps he leaves her. Gwen goes to the bridge and boom! She's getting killed while being completely alone, either by Harry or maybe even Norman. Peter comes to the bridge and we see a perfect adaptation of the classic story, which leaves Peter to seek revenge in the third film and gives us a perfect time span before they can introduce Mary Jane once again, and she will support Peter and cheer him up, which wouldn't make sense in the second movie, that's why they cut Shailene Woodley's part. Of course, they didn't film this scene at the real bridge, they just filmed a few shots there. There were rumors that they built a fake bridge set at Grumman Studios, which is a part of Sony Pictures Studios, for obvious reasons. They wanted to avoid all the paparazzis taking shots of such surprise scene. That's why they showed us the clock tower scene in the trailer, probably to make us believe that she dies there, but nope, she dies the classic way, at the bridge. Here comes the plot twist. Unfortunately, superheroes always pay for their mistakes and for breaking promises, and eventually Peter is going to pay for breaking a promise to Captain Stacy. Now also Emma Stone signed a 3-picture deal, but you know, Martin Sheen returns as Uncle Ben in the sequel. It's called Flashback, so probably Emma Stone will appear in a flashback scenes in a third movie. Anyway, that's my thoughts, my final evidence and my final theory on Gwen's death, and most certainly I won't be back to this topic until the actual release of the film. Finally, I appreciate all of you guys. I know that some of you just don't want Gwen to die and you don't want to believe it, and that's absolutely okay. I'm a huge fan of Emma Stone. I don't really want her to die, but this has to happen and it will happen. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'm out for now.